Welcome to What If You Had a Quirk, or Build a Quirk Workshop, whatever you want to call it. Now, you may remember the series from before. We won't be covering anything new today. However, we have seen this series been getting a lot of traffic lately. Because of that, we wanted to revisit it and update its quality. There have been a few minor tweaks as well, including things to make it easier for those without dice on hand.
Ugh. I have to do this again? Why didn't you just have us do it right the first time?
I believe this project was supposed to be your baby. You created the system. You wrote the scripts.
Right. Well, I guess let's do this.
You guys heard him.
Dang it!
We talked about the different types of magic systems previously. In case you don't know what they are or don't remember them, we will go over them again. Created by Brandon Sanderson to help him with world building, he uses them to help him write novels. The two systems are differentiated by how much the reader or viewer is allowed to know about how the magic works. With a hard magic system, there are clearly defined rules for magic. We know what a character is or is not capable of doing with their powers. This lets magic be used for problem solving, since those engaged with the material are able to understand how it works.
On the flip side, you have a soft magic system, where magic is mysterious. You know characters that wield magic are powerful, but you don't really know their power set itself. Great examples are Lord of the Rings and the Chronicles of Narnia. Quirks may not be magic, but we can still use this idea. My Hero Academia is a world where we know their limits and how their powers work. Still, shonen anime and manga are all about pushing past your limits, which means it probably falls in between as a hybrid system.
Alright, enough about that. Let's get to the good stuff. Let's get to building some quirks. Well, before we jump into this, one thing that we need to remember, everybody just can't have unlimited power. There has to be limits, and that's what this whole system is designed for, to help limit that power. Now, for anyone that doesn't really know what they want for their quirk, we actually want to encourage you to stop the video right now. We've included a link for some generators to kind of help you generate some ideas for a power that you may want. So go ahead, you can pause the video right now and do that. Don't worry, we'll wait for you. But with that being said, you know, your power can really be anything, right? Like, I could stop time, I could teleport, or harness the unlimited power of magic itself.
Indeed it could. I'm surprised you didn't say that you wanted to shoot hot dogs from your eyes.
Well, you know, I do love hot dogs, but that's not the point. We have included a template in the description so you can copy to follow along on this video. Share your finished quirk in the comments and let the world know your true power. If you enjoyed this video, show it by giving it a like, subscribe for more awesome What If content, and ring the bell so you never miss a video.
Hey, that's enough of the self-promotion. I don't have all day, you know.
Alright. In the previous version, we needed dice. If you have some on hand, roll 4 6-sided dice and add 46 to the result. If you don't have any dice, then you can simply start with 60 points. Whichever way you do it, keep track of that number. You will use these points to design your own quirk factor.
I still think that by letting them skip the dice, you're making it way too easy. What's next? Letting them just pick any number? What do you think these are? Power levels? Just an arbitrary number now. Quirks are broken up into 3 different types: emitter, mutant, and transformation quirks. Emitter type quirks generate or unleash something. They can also alter materials around the user. We see these more often than the rest, and they include quirks like Bakugos, Todorokis, and even Dekus. Emitter types cost 40 points.
So, if I did shoot hot dogs out of my eyes, that would be an emitter type, right?
Yes, that would be an emitter type.
What if I wanted to create an invisible barrier, you know, that only I could see?
Yep, emitter.
What if I wanted to fire phasers or quantum torpedoes?
Even that would be an emitter type quirk. Are you done yet?
Yeah, that should be enough examples. Next up, the transformation type. These temporarily change a user's body to give them extraordinary abilities. Rarest of the three types, it is only seen in one student in Class 1A, Kirishima's Quirk Hardening, Class B's Kendo with the Quirk Big Fist, which is also a transformation quirk. If you wanted to be able to switch between, say, a human and a gorilla, or maybe even human and dragon, transformation is your type. Most expensive thanks to their rarity, these quirks will set you back 50 points.
Being weird looking only half the time is not enough for you. Then you want to be a mutant, or one of my experiments. You could be an anthropomorphic lizard or shark, even a kangaroo. Mutant quirks permanently modify the user's body in order to allow the user to do things otherwise impossible. Take Duploharms, for instance. It created extra structures on Shoji's body. Same quirk could have been a transformation type. However, then he would have been limited to only transforming his hands. Another unique feature to the mutants are that their kids get to be freaks too, but they don't receive the benefit of the mutation's powers. Tokuyami is a good example of that. He has a bird head, but it has nothing to do with his power set. In addition to all those awesome perks, mutations only cost 30 points.
More important than the type of quirk is how the user intends to utilize it. There are 5 intended uses of a quirk. You may only choose one quirk type and one intended use. Your quirk may still be used in other ways, but the intended use is what the quirk excels at. First up, we have Infiltration and Reconnaissance. They both cost 20 points. Infiltration quirks like Invisibility let you sneak into places or give you particular advantages in a particular terrain. Reconnaissance is all about gathering information, such as the quirk Search.
Combat and Rescue are the next 2 intended uses. All about the battle, combat quirks quickly overwhelm opponents or subdue them. Todoroki can easily do both, while Bakugo tends to defeat his enemies rather than contain them. Rescue quirks shine when someone is in need of protection or a way out of a dangerous situation. Ida Tenya's quirk Engine is a great example of this. He can easily get in or out of trouble, either of which will cost you 30 points.
Last on our list is Support. They cost 50 points due to their wide range of abilities. Most often, support quirks need other skills or quirks to maximize their potential. Yaoyorozu's quirk Creation, for example, can be used to attack directly. She can produce a cannon or other weapons, but without the skills to wield them, they are useless.
Now, you may have noticed that adding some of these options puts you over the number of creation points. This is fine. We'll be picking limitations later to get those points back. Just add the costs of your type and intended use together. Keep track of this number as well. The next part covers stats, a bonus section. While not directly related to a quirk factor, it should be addressed before the limitations.
Official stats came out of the Ultra Archive character book. Separate from the quirk, they represent natural, physical, mental, and social abilities. 5 stats were listed: power, speed, technique, intelligence, and cooperativeness. Each were ranked between 1 and 5. While 5 is the max, a few characters were given the rank of 6.
6s when the max is 5, and no dice rolling? Kids these days. If you rolled dice and got all 6s though, for a total of 70 points, then you may raise 1 stat to 6. This is still true. The rest of you cannot. And before any of you start complaining, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, life's not fair.
Each stat gets 1 point in it for free, because free stuff is cool. It also doesn't cost much to raise a stat, just 1 point. And don't forget that you can spend points that you don't have. Now, back to the stats. Power is the measure of one's physical strength and endurance.
You know, I hate to repeat myself. I guess it's been months, so it really wouldn't count as repeating myself, right? Fine. Speed should be self-explanatory, but if I can't do it.
Speed is both how fast you can move and how well you can do it.
Technique refers to how well you can utilize your skills to carry out tasks.
Intelligence, your forte. I believe you said last time, it lets you analyze and understand things.
It is indeed. Finally, we have the odd one, Cooperativeness. So odd that in the Ultra Analysis book it was changed to something else. However, for our purpose, it's more useful. Cooperativeness determines how well you play with others, something that you called me out on the last time we did this.
Yeah, I did, but you've gotten better. You're even nicer this time around. We might have to make you a regular. Now that you've spent some points on your stats, tally the total points spent. Add this to the previous total from your Quirk Type and Intended Use. This new number is then subtracted from the original number of the creation points. Your total will be likely negative. Some will be higher than others.
That debt must be made up by the limitations you choose. There are 3 tiers. The first tier of limitations are those that we might see in the real world. While they seem extreme when paired with quirks, they're not that unnatural. Limitations in this tier include abnormal appearance, inconvenient mutation, knowledge, mental drain, physical drain, and fuel requirements. These are worth 5 points.
Abnormal appearance is a change to the user's body. As mentioned earlier, mutants get this limitation automatically. They cannot select it to offset their negative balance. It could be a small or large deviation from the norm. You could also choose this limitation if you want to have inherited a mutant appearance from your parents.
In a world of weird, to really stand out, you have to pick inconvenient mutation. These are those that not only are easily noticed, but also troublesome to the user. This could be how Ojiril's tail requires special clothing, or how Asui's facial expressions are hard to read.
Knowledge is a requirement that we have only seen for Yaoyorozu's quirk. Specific knowledge must be known by the user to activate their quirk. Other ways to use this would be to take a page from Death Note and say that you need to know a person's name in order to use a villainous instant kill quirk. Or maybe you've needed to be to a certain place in order to be able to teleport there or something like that.
Mental drain has an effect on the user's mind. It could lower their intelligence like Sugar Rush, stupefy them like Kaminiri's quirk Electrification. It could be any way that a quirk negatively affects a user's mental faculties. It's kind of like what happens when I hang out with you.
Physical drain can be anything that hinders the user's physical capabilities. Excellent examples of this includes how Bakugo's resistance to his explosions will eventually wear off. Mineta's bleeding head is an indication of the physical drain of his quirk.
The final limitation in Tier 1 is a boring one, called fuel requirements. Like all bodies need fuel, your quirk has a specific need. One example is how Ida must drink juice to power his quirk engine. Another is Yaoyorozu's need to eat tons of food to store fat. Again, limitations of the first tier will get you 5 points back. Other than abnormal appearance and inconvenient mutation, these limitations could be chosen more than once.
Tiers 2 and 3 have 4 limitations each. The second tier is cooldown, hard limit, harmful, and indicator. Hard limit should be covered first, since it is often paired with other limitations.
A hard limit is one that cannot be passed, at least usually. In the case of My Hero Academia, that differs a little. It includes limitations that can be passed, but trigger another limit when that happens. Jiro's quirk Earphone Jack is a perfect example of this first kind of hard limit. Her earlobes can extend up to 6 meters and no more. Zero Gravity, though, used by Uraraka, has a hard limit of 3 tons. She is capable of lifting more, but doing so causes her to be nauseous, a physical drain.
Cooldowns are probably familiar to the gamers out there. There are periods of time during which your quirk cannot be used. Eraser tires out Aizawa's eyes. He must let them rest before he can use his power again. Tokoyami's Dark Shadow also seems to have a cooldown tied to a hard limit. While not totally defined, there is a limit to the energy of Dark Shadow. Once that is used up, it must go into a cooldown period to recharge.
Harmful is a limitation that inherently hurts the user, or those around them through its use. Look at Todoroki's quirk, half cold, half hot. It could kill him if he uses one side too much without the other. Now this may seem odd in a world full of heroes or villains, but in everyday life, a harmful power can be a major disadvantage.
The last limitation of Tier 2 is called Indicator. Something shows that you are using your quirk. Like how Eraserhead's hair stands up and his eyes glow red whenever he activates his quirk. Tier 2 limitations will return 8 points toward your deficit.
The third tier's 4 limitations are contact requirement, stipulation, uncontrollable, and weakness. Contact requirement is separate from the limitation range, which we will discuss later. This seems to line up with My Hero Academia. Cement Toss's cement needs contact but has long range. It is in Tier 3 because out of all Class 1A, only 0 gravity requires contact, making it quite rare.
Stipulation restricts a quirk with a specific condition, such as how creation can only be used to create non-living things, and how earth flow only works on Earth. Since it is so particular, it greatly lessens a quirk's capabilities.
Uncontrollable quirks are those that cannot be controlled in some way. Aoyama's naval laser leaks out without his belt. Dark Shadow is capable of acting on his own. This limitation can also be as simple as how Mount Lady cannot control how large she grows. She's just big or she's small.
Weakness, the last limitation of Tier 3, refers to some sort of vulnerability. Examples include how the earphone jack detection method and Anti-Voice's ability to speak with animals can only be overcome with sound, or Dark Shadow's aversion to light. And that's it for Tier 3. All of those limitations will return 10 points towards your deficiencies. But wait, there's more.
Limited range is a special limitation, an advanced limitation. It can be any tier. You can gain 5, 8, or 10 points from it, depending on if you choose long, medium, or short. If you do not choose this limitation, then your range is unlimited like Aoyama's naval laser. It can go on forever.
The goal of adding the limitation is to reach 0 again. Creation points minus Quirk Type, Intended Use, and the stats will give you a negative number. After you pick all of your limitations, adding their total to your negative number should zero out or come close. Either way, you have to get a positive number. Thus, if you have chosen your limitations and still have a negative number, you need to grab some more.
That's it, right? Hey, if we had taken down the old series, then I would never have been repeating myself this whole time anyways.
Oh well, guess we gotta keep them now. Besides, people probably still want to access their old comments. Speaking of which, don't forget to comment your new full power down below.
Don't listen to him. Stop subscribing, never like these videos, and forget that stupid bell. It doesn't even ring. Oh yeah, if they don't subscribe, they won't be getting updates about my series. Wait, come back.